Brandon Aiyuk of the Niners, we all know that he demanded a trade. San Francisco's been down this road before with other players. How's it going in San Fran?
Well, it's not going great. He hasn't been out there during practice, and a lot of people saw earlier this week him dop up Kyle Shanahan during practice, thinking there's a new deal between the two sides. There's not a new deal between the two sides, not at least currently. Two sides have been talking. They'd love to see if they could figure out something to get worked out, but nothing. And Brandon Aiyuk has been very resolute that obviously he wants a trade, he wants a new deal. The Niners feel like they've tried so many different things to get it worked out, and right now it's just not a great situation for either side with no end to this in sight right now.
Yeah, player they developed so key to their Super Bowl run. Mina, what makes him critical with this offense?
Oh, he's so important to this offense, not just because of his abilities. He has such a complete skill set. He wins at all three levels. He's an elite route runner. He plays with the level of physicality that matches the identity of this offense. But also, Hannah, because of what he means to Brock Purdy. One of the biggest changes when you switched from Jimmy Garoppolo to Brock Purdy was Purdy's willingness to throw deep and outside the numbers, which was a part of the field you really didn't see accessed in the previous versions of this offense. Brandon Aiyuk is the receiver who wins outside the numbers. Led all receivers in the NFL, by the way, in yards per route run on catches outside the numbers last season. There is no one else on this roster with his particular skill set. And to lose him, it wouldn't be devastating because they're so stacked, but it would be a significant problem, in my opinion.
Okay, so, guys, we have to put this in context here, okay? Because, listen, Brandon Aiyuk is obviously a great wide receiver, top wide receiver, however we want to define it. I'm not trying to get lost in who's elite, who's top 5, top 10. He's a great wide receiver. Your team is better with him than without him. Not denying that one bit. But you have to look at it from the full picture, okay? Because Brandon Aiyuk has had tremendous amount of success playing with the 49ers. And because of what the 49ers can offer Aiyuk, okay, in terms of Shanahan, in terms of Purdy, in terms of Debo, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, like all of these things matter. We have to stop pretending, because anytime we want to talk about a singular player and how great a singular player is, we will always want to de-emphasize all these other variables. We want to de-emphasize the quarterback. We want to de-emphasize the other weapons that make it now more difficult to, like, say, double team or just a game plan against in general. De-emphasize the coach. And it's just absurd to me. We're living in a world right now where people are like, oh yeah, Travis Kelce was nothing before Patrick Mahomes. And it's like, oh my God, that is one of the most insane takes. When people say statements like that is insane. Obviously, a great player is going to be better with a greater player playing aside him. Like, obviously. But it doesn't make it mutually exclusive. It's not saying that Patrick Mahomes has made Travis Kelce, or that if Travis Kelce wasn't with another high-end quarterback that he wouldn't be great as well. And so I always hate when we just want to bring down other players for the sake of elevating other ones. It does not make sense. So to not act like Aiyuk has greatly benefited from Shanahan's offense, from a stacked roster, and Brock Purdy's insane consistency, it's just that. It's insane. It's absurd. So we're acting now like Brandon Aiyuk, because a lot of fans are trying to act like Brandon Aiyuk is the 49ers. And it's just absurd. And quite frankly, to kind of stick with the Kansas City Chiefs as an example, you just got to look at Tyreek Hill. People were like, oh my God, I can't believe the Chiefs are going to let go of Tyreek Hill. And the truth is that when you have Andy Reid at the helm, and you have Patrick Mahomes, and you still have a Travis Kelce, and you now have some of these younger pieces that you're going to be elevating, and you go out and get some veteran receivers, when you have especially someone like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to be able to tie this all together, you can make other players in that system play great. That is the benefit of having a coach like Shanahan. Brandon Aiyuk is obviously playing great and is important to this team, but he is not the team. You move on from Brandon Aiyuk, the 49ers and Shanahan will find a way to replace him and replace with a lot of production. How do I know this? Because otherwise they would have given him the bank. They would have given him the truck full of money It would have just already been done at this point. And it's not. They're actually open to trade requests now, like open to to trades now. Apparently, the Patriots are at the top of the list right now of trying to make an offer to get Aiyuk. And this is what I talked about before, where if you're Brandon Aiyuk, what would you rather have? And I'm making up these numbers here. These are going to be completely made up numbers. Is it better to be with the 49ers, an insanely winning current culture with a top coach in the NFL, with top weapons, where you clearly are knocking on the door for a Super Bowl and get paid $25 million a year? Or would you rather go to the New England Patriots, where you probably are years away from doing anything relevant, where you have a rookie head coach, a defensive head coach, and a quarterback that's either going to be a backup quarterback in Jacoby Brissett, or you have May, who's a rookie, who's realistically a couple years away from doing anything in the NFL, and make $30 million a year? What would you rather have? It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just, sometimes you take a discount, if that's what you really want to call it, because it's a better circumstance. It's a better situation to be in. I would much rather work a job that I know I can succeed in, that I'm surrounded by other people that make my life easier, that make my life better, that set me up to have higher levels of success. I'd rather have that job and get paid a little less than be the king of the mountain at another job where the boss is unproven. It's just kind of a disaster. I'm working with people that make me want to rip my hair out of my head. Like, it's just obvious. So it's just, you can't just always just chase and say, I'm just going to pick the highest dollar out there. Because ask a lot of people, especially people in the business world, ask a lot of business people how that works out for them. And they'll tell you not well. That oftentimes they don't take the highest offer, because the highest offer is typically not always the best circumstance for success, as we can see. So people want to say that it's insulting that Brandon Aiyuk's not getting this money or this, that. You have to realize what the 49ers are trying to work with. They know they're going to have to pay Brock Purdy a ton of money. They paying Christian McCaffrey. They got Debo. They got Kittle. I mean, they have a lot of mouths to feed. It's just the way it is. So if Aiyuk wants to now go to New England, by all means, have fun being irrelevant for years. You might get your targets. You're certainly not going to get those wins. And it's just like, I just don't know what then you're expecting to do with all of this. It's just kind of absurd to me. It really is. And this is what I literally said a couple months ago. Like, you could end up on the Patriots and it's like, congrats. You got your money. You were still going to make a ton of money. Like, we're acting like they're going to offer Aiyuk like $10 million and he's going to get paid $100 million with, New England. It's not what we're talking about here. We're probably talking about a difference in a few million here and there. Not to mention the amount of money that he makes consistently winning and being at the top of the game with the 49ers. You're going to make that money back in endorsements, especially if you win a Super Bowl. Just ask Travis Kelce. The dude's been feasting. He could have gotten paid a lot more money with different teams, without a doubt. But he knows winning has increased his brand and his pockets. That's obvious. So it's just kind of a bad place to be in, honestly. And I'm really curious to see how it all unfolds, because I don't even know what I'm rooting for at this point. Like, on one side, I want to see, like, the 49ers make this work, because then they'll be, like, a really exciting team to watch. I mean, either way, they're going to be an exciting team. And then on the other side, I'm kind of I want to use this as a perfect example for the future, to be like, when another wide receiver is, crying about something again, I could be like, well, look what happened to Brandon Aiyuk. Everybody was excited for him. He was a rising star, and then he wanted more money, and he got traded to New England, and there you go. Now he's doing nothing. Right? Like, I think that would be like a great example, but I don't want to see it happen to Aiyuk. But either way, all he does is clearly care about the money, which, again, I understand you trying to maximize your money. At the end of the day, it is technically about the money. People say it's about winning. No, it is. At the end of the day, it's about money. I mean, it is. These guys want to make as much money as they can, just like we all do. But at the same time, it is still a balance. I guarantee you can probably get a super high-paying job in a completely random part of the country where they're really desperate for certain, careers, but you're unwilling to move there because of where you are now, because of either family, because of the life you are created. Like, we all have to pick and choose what we're willing to do. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see. It seems like the 49ers are definitely receptive to trading, which says a lot. I know some people are going to say, oh, this is just the way how 49ers conduct business. Look what they did with Debo, blah, 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 blah. I disagree. It's not to say that Aiyuk won't end up still signing and working something out with the 49ers, but this is just not the mess you want. The 49ers right now are set up to legitimately compete for a Super Bowl, especially for the next couple of years. And if we just want to focus on this season, this is not the mess that you want to deal with right now. You want to stay focused on the task at hand. You don't have the luxury of dealing with some of these issues because you've already lost in the Super Bowl. You lost in the NFC Championship game. You are trying to get over this hump, and this is only making that hump slightly bigger. And so it's just you. If you're a 49ers fan, this is just not the mess and not the issue and not the distractions that you want to deal with. More than anything, it's just the uncertainty. Is Aiyuk going to be there or not? Yes or no? I mean, it's going to be affecting Shanahan, how he's going to be doing. It's going to be affecting the other receivers. It's a whole trickle-down effect. It will affect everyone. You got to just know, is he going to be there, yes or no? And if the answer is no, great. We know that. Now we're going to move on. We're going to do what we need to do. If the answer is yes, okay, great. Let's go. We got work to do. You need that clarity. To not have that clarity at this point in August, it's just not good. I'm not acting like it's, we got to sound the alarm here, but it's just not ideal when you have legitimate Super Bowl aspirations and a legitimate Super Bowl capable roster. That's the difference. And what Aiyuk also needs to understand is that this team is getting older, and so they will have to kind of like hit the reset button, not a rebuild, but they're just going to have this like new turnover. They're going to have to like kind of replace a lot of pieces. And the 49ers can still be good. And Aiyuk would be part of that core. He would be that Debo, that Kittle. He would be that core, the top of the food chain for the 49ers, the leaders of that team. But these are the actions that are not getting there just yet. So I'm definitely going to keep my eyes peeled for this one to see. Because it's just, either way, it's an interesting storyline. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think Aiyuk should want a trade at this point, to go to, say, the Patriots? Or do you think he should try to work out a deal with the 49ers, even if it's a little less money? Or do you think the 49ers need to just stop and pay him pretty much everything that he wants? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.